I'm going to be talking about the projection effect today. You can see in the screenshot I'm sharing with you that that comment, or those two comments by the gentleman Charlie S., although to me not very interesting in content, did spur me on to speak about this. It seems, and I've talked about this before, that so many people, particularly men, are just nonplussed, baffled, bemused beyond recognition, beyond any level of measurement, that I could actually say and think the things that I do. That I actually mean what I say and say what I mean. That I act upon what I mean and say. It's just so baffling. It's so baffling that they come up with comments like this. Now, he goes on to talk about some sort of void, and this can only be filled with a woman. I think we all have voids, and I've talked about this, and Barbarossa has as well. I think men, deep down, have a void to connect intellectually, ultimately. As Barbarossa intimated in that video, one of his most recent videos, the very excellent one, Humanity First and Foremost, what are the memories you actually have of the past, of random fucks you've had with girls, or even fucks you've had with girlfriends? My ex-wives, and that's Stardust talk, by the way, I always refer to my exes as ex-wives. My ex-wives, when I think, their faces are completely blurry to me. I can barely remember what they look like. The sex, even in the best cases, one of them who was violent and psychotic, and at the same time very good in bed, such a long time, I don't even remember that. However, I do remember striking conversations with individuals, the vast majority of whom have been men. Insightful conversations, moments of intellectual bonding, and so on and so forth. The pair bonding effect, fucking and what have you, this just withers and fizzles out into a haze of a distant memory. That, I think, is the void, as Barbarossa has intimated, that we have as men, much more so than this a void for a woman, which is effectively what he's saying, the void for the need to reproduce. I mean, that's all he's saying, basically. But yeah, the level of bemusement and just incredulity that I could actually believe and say what I say and do what I do, it's too much for them. Now, there's another element to this, and this is the comfort of the collective lie. And we've seen this in religion throughout the ages, particularly in modern times. It's okay as long as everyone else believes the lie. You see, that's the modus operandi here. It's okay if everyone else believes the lie. It's okay if I lie to myself. And what men going their own way are doing is divesting themselves of this lie and saying it, well, telling the world how it actually is. And this, once again, seems to upset people, but also it causes a rupture in their collective lie. Like a large religious body of religious people who for the first time experience the true nature of their religious delusion. It makes them feel good, but then when you puncture that bubble that they've been living in, they all start getting upset. Now, there's no doubt that feminism has been, capital F feminism, has been disastrous upon Western civilization, and now upon Eastern civilizations as well. It's been a giant mess. But, we live in reality. We need to accept things on their own terms. We need to accept things for what they are. And it happened. Feminism happened. So what is the positive? And I'm not saying feminism itself is positive. The positive is the information we have gathered. Feminism has revealed to us the true nature of the female. That females en masse, whether they call themselves feminists or not, will do certain things without any hesitation, without any regard to their men, or their men in their lives, or men at whole at large. So feminism effectively has been a revelation. And the people who are always ranting on about anti-feminism, and the traditionalists as well, I mean, these are people who, as I say, I liken to a body of religious people who've had their religious bubble of delusion popped and refuse to accept reality. They want to go back to the religious bubble, but it can't be returned to. It's gone because the bubble's been popped. There's a rupture in the bubble. They want everyone to just join in the collective lie to make themselves feel good. This is why people fall for the ghost of Karl Marx. That Karl Marx, this is why they believe, although they've never actually said this, although if they were to, it could be easily extracted from some of their claims, that Karl Marx had a time machine and journeyed back 200,000 years in the past to manipulate early Homo sapiens. That Karl Marx this, Hegelian dialectic that, and so on and so forth. That Karl Marx somehow, and communism and socialism are the keys to understanding feminism. Now, no one's denied that there's a relationship between the two, but it has to go deeper. It always has to go deeper than some merely political ideology. What is it about, then, if you're going to make the claim, Karl Marx and communism and socialism, that makes it so appealing to women? What is the biological quality, characteristic of females that allows them, or rather permits them, to just fall for it without very much thought, without thinking twice about it? So, but that's a one size fits all solution. Oh, it's Karl Marx. Defeat the left, the same thing. Defeat the left, everything's solved. This is how primitive religious people think. The great Satan. Defeat Satan, he's gone, everything's going to be good. Complex questions with simple answers. But complex questions beget complex answers, more often than not. So when I'm talking about projection, this desire for a collective lie, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Be it the religious collective delusion or the collective delusion about the biological realities we face as men and women. People want to go back to the lie. Feminism popped a hole in the bubble. There's a rupture, and the rupture is just oozing now. It's impossible to repair. As I've said many times, barring civilizational collapse, we're not going back to the alleged good old days. So it falls to us to reap lessons from that ruptured bubble, rather than lamenting the fact that the bubble is there and it's been ruptured and there's a gaping wound or a hole in it. I mean, that's not going to bring us forward. We're not going to make progress that way, men or women, by lamenting the past, by ruining the day that feminism took its politicized form. That doesn't help anyone. What will help us is understanding the biological nature and motivation of men and women. Not pining, as this guy uses the term, pining away for a woman. I guess this is what this guy does. He's pining away for a woman. This is monkey eye, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. This is just shut your eyes to the world, shut your ears to the world, shut your mouth to the world, and just believe. Feminism, unfortunate as it's been, has been a revelation. And now we, for the first time since possibly antiquity, because I believe the ancients had a much more realistic perspective on these things, we are empowered with the knowledge to deal with each other effectively on a purely biological basis, which of course leads then to culture and the political institutions we have, as men and women. And given that the stakes are so high, we don't really have a choice. We have to deal in reality. But like I said, just like the religionists who revel in their collective delusion, you'll have people reveling, both men and women, in the collective delusion of romantic love, of pair bonding, of all this silliness that only existed because it had to, because without it, no one would have survived very long. And that's gone. That era is gone. We're living in 2013. The bubble has a gaping, ruptured wound. It's weeping blood. Do you want to constantly stare at it and talk about it and talk about the good old days? Or do we want to move forward? Do we want to move forward and understand things as they actually are? Now, a lot of this is repetition, but sometimes repetition is very valuable. One point I would like you to take away from this is that people will settle for lies and delusions if everyone else believes them because it makes them feel good. People are not necessarily, rarely, after veridical content. They're not necessarily chasing after the truth. If the truth makes them feel good, they'll accept it. If not, they'll reject it. Now, the idea that we all have this void pining away from, on a final note, it's, if you actually, I've said this many times, if you actually understand women, no such void will exist. I guarantee it. If you actually understand the calculus involved, you will not have this void. Ergo, this gentleman certainly does not understand women. And in the words of the immortal Barbarossa, that's all I got to say for now. More to come.